Welcome to our podcast. How to learn English like a baby.
You don't need to study hard to speak English well. You don't need a big brain. You don't need to be smart. You just need to learn like a baby. Think about it. Babies can't read. They can't write. They don't know what grammar is. But they speak. They understand. They say what they want. How? They listen. Every day. They hear the same sounds, the same words, the same voices, and they don't get bored. They listen with their heart. They copy what they hear. They say it wrong. Nobody laughs. Nobody corrects them with a red pen. People smile. They clap. They say it again and again. So the baby says it again too. And again. And one day, it becomes natural. We forget that. We grow up. We think we have to learn with books. We think we have to be perfect. But babies don't wait to be perfect. They speak when they can. They make noise. They try, and slowly the words grow inside them. You can do that too, if you listen more, if you copy what you love, if you stop trying to be perfect. English is not a subject. It's not something you study. It's a sound, a feeling, a part of life. Treat it like that, and your brain will stop fighting. It will start learning. Do you notice how babies love sounds? They laugh when someone says peekaboo. They clap when they hear music. They don't care what the word means. They just feel it. And that's how learning starts. Babies don't rush. They don't say, I want to speak in 6 months. They don't count how many words they know. They just live with the language. They hear it in the morning, at lunch, before sleep. They hear it when they cry, when they laugh, when they're quiet. The words are everywhere. And slowly their brain connects the dots. That's what most learners miss. They want speed. They want results. But they forget to surround themselves with the language. Ask yourself this. How often do you hear English? Not just in class. Not just on YouTube for 10 minutes. I mean really hear it. In your free time. When you're tired. When you're walking. When you're brushing your teeth. Babies learn because English is not just something they study. It's part of their world. So make it part of your world too. Change the voice on your phone to English. Talk to yourself while cooking. Sing along, even if your voice shakes. Put English everywhere. On your walls, on your screen, in your ears. Don't wait until you feel ready. Babies don't feel ready. They just start. And they don't understand everything. But they keep listening anyway. Because that's how learning works. You understand a little, then a little more. And one day, without even noticing, you start to answer back. No pressure, no grammar test. Just like that. Because the language has lived with you long enough. It becomes yours. Babies don't study vocabulary lists. They don't sit and say, today I will learn 5 new words. They just hear the same words again and again. In real situations. Not from a book. Not from a quiz. From people. Their mom says, come here. Then again, come here. And again, one day the baby comes, not because they memorized the word, but because they've felt it. That word now means something. It has life. It's connected to a moment, a feeling, a need. That's how you remember words forever. Not from a list, but from a moment. So create those moments. Use simple English in your daily life. Say open every time you open the door. Say hot when you drink tea. Say tired when your eyes feel heavy. It sounds silly maybe, but this is what babies do. And it works. Because the brain remembers best when the word is real. Not when it's in a test, but when it's part of you. And don't worry if your sentences are short. Babies start with 1 word, then 2, then more. Nobody tells them that's not enough. Because everyone knows it takes time. So be kind to yourself. Say 1 word if that's all you can. Say it with confidence. Then grow from there. Language is not a performance. It's not for showing off. It's for connecting. And connection doesn't need perfect grammar. It needs courage. It needs honesty. It needs presence. Just like a baby's first word. Babies don't correct themselves every 2 seconds. They don't say, wait, was that past tense or present perfect? They speak. Even when it's messy. They focus on the message, not the mistake. But we grow up and start judging every word we say. We speak half a sentence, then stop. We think, we panic, we go silent. And silence kills progress. Babies don't let fear stop them. They say what they can. Even if it sounds wrong. Even if nobody understands the first time. Because each try brings them closer. So what if your sentence isn't perfect? So what if you forget a word? Did the other person understand you? Did you try your best to connect? Then that's enough. Fluency doesn't come from control. It comes from freedom. From speaking without fear. And no one gets to fluency by waiting until they're ready. You don't learn to swim by reading about it. You learn by getting in the water, by sinking a little, splashing around, swallowing water, and still trying again. Language is the same. You speak, you fall, you get back up. That's how babies do it. They fall 100 times. They hit their head. They cry. Then they laugh. Then they try again. And one day they walk. You want to speak English well? Start walking, even if your voice shakes, even if your grammar is full of holes. Because one day, without warning, you'll look back and realize you've been speaking all along. Babies don't translate. They don't hear a word and think, what does this mean in my language? They just feel it. They connect the sound with what's happening, the tone, the face, the emotion. That's how meaning is born. Without needing a dictionary. But when we learn a language, we translate everything in our heads. We hear a sentence, and before we answer, we go back to our own language. It's like trying to dance by reading the steps while the music is playing. You're always one beat too late. Babies don't do that. They move with the music. They trust what they hear. They don't need to understand every word to understand what's going on, and neither do you. You can feel a sentence before you break it down. You can guess a meaning from the way it's said. You can start thinking in English, not by forcing it, but by allowing it. It starts small. You see a chair and you think chair, not the word in your language. You hear what's wrong, and you feel the worry in the voice, not just the grammar. That's thinking like a baby, not thinking with words, but with moments, with emotion, with sound. Let English live in your mind like a picture, not a puzzle. Let it come to you naturally, without rushing to translate. You don't need to understand everything to feel something. That's how babies speak. And that's how you can too. Babies don't worry about their accent. They don't think, do I sound like a native? They just speak with the voice they have. Their goal isn't to sound perfect. It's to be heard, to be understood. But when we learn English, we listen to our own voice and start to doubt. Do I sound weird? Do I have the right rhythm? Will people laugh at how I pronounce this? And little by little, we speak less. Not because we can't, but because we're afraid of how we sound. That fear doesn't help you grow. It keeps you small. Babies are loud. They scream. They mumble. They make sounds that don't even exist in any language. And still, people cheer them on. Because they know it's all part of learning. So why not give yourself that same kindness? Why not celebrate your voice, even if it's different? Even if your accent shows where you come from, that's not something to hide. That's something to honor. Your accent tells a story. It says you're brave enough to speak another language. It says you've worked hard. It says you're human. And humans connect through honesty, not perfection. So speak up. Let your voice shake if it has to. Let the words come out imperfect and beautiful. Because babies don't wait until they sound like someone else. They speak like themselves. And that's more than enough. Learning English like a baby means learning through curiosity, not pressure. Babies don't feel the weight of exams or deadlines. They explore the world with wide eyes, eager to discover sounds and meanings. They don't rush. They don't force themselves to speak before they're ready. Instead, they stay curious. Imagine you're in a new place with a language you don't understand. What do? You look around. You watch people's faces. You listen to how their voices rise and fall. You notice the small things, the way someone smiles when they say something funny, or how their eyes light up when they're excited. That's what babies do with language every day. When you learn like a baby, you don't just study words, you experience them. You feel the energy behind a sentence. You sense the mood before the meaning sinks in. You watch how people move their hands or nod their heads as they speak. This is how language becomes alive. Babies don't stop after they hear one word. They repeat it over and over, trying different sounds, different rhythms, different ways to say it. They're patient with themselves. They play with language like it's a new toy, not a test they have to pass. This playful attitude is something we lose as adults. We stop playing and start worrying. But what if learning English was more about play and less about perfection? What if every mistake was just part of the game? What if every attempt was a small victory? Try turning your practice into play. Sing songs in English, even if your voice cracks. Make up stories using new words you've learned. Talk to yourself in the mirror like you're your best friend. Laugh at your mistakes. Celebrate the weird sounds you make. Babies learn to speak because they enjoy it. The joy fuels their effort. When you find joy in your learning, the hours pass quickly and the words come naturally. Also, babies are not afraid to ask questions, even the simplest ones. They keep asking, "What's that?" until they understand. They don't feel embarrassed to ask again. As adults, we often feel shy or stupid to ask questions. But asking is how you grow. Don't hide your questions. Don't pretend you understand when you don't. Be curious. Be bold. Every question is a door to a new world. Finally, babies learn because they live in the language. It's part of their daily life, not a separate subject. They hear it at breakfast, at playtime, at bedtime. It's everywhere. To learn like a baby, make English part of your life. Label things around your home. Think in English when you plan your day. Write short notes to yourself. Change your phone language. When English becomes part of your everyday world, it stops feeling like work. It becomes a friend you spend time with, not a subject you study. Learning English like a baby means living with it, feeling it, and welcoming it every day without fear or shame. So, learning English like a baby means trusting the process more than the outcome. So don't rush. Don't judge yourself harshly. Speak, listen, play, and live English every day. Let it grow inside you naturally, like a seed turning into a tree. One day you'll look back and realize you've become the speaker you dreamed of, not because you chased perfection, but because you allowed yourself to learn just like a baby, freely, fully, and without fear. Keep going. Your voice matters. Thank you so much for listening until the end. If you found this helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs it. Take care, and see you in the next video.